Welcome to my Fair Trade Awareness.
Success, Love and All. This short play has a sports theme. It focuses on one woman, Catherine, and her determination to carve a career for herself as a tennis player, with all its disappointments and hard work. Her parents are concerned, because their daughter seems to prefer a single life with false dreams and high-reaching successes. Will good advice and guidance rescue her future in sport?
Hi, and welcome to a month for emotions with me, Valentine Miller, on PRZ-FM 109.2. This radio production highlights and brings to light some of our illogical, irrational, and sometimes unreasonable ways of thinking and ways of behaving, knowing that at the end of the day, God is the one who sees our heart. This morning I'm talking about the taboo subject, which is around money. Money is described as an item of verifiable record that is generally accepted as payment for goods and services and repayment of debts in a particular country. My concern is, for example, I do not have money to pay for goods. I will eventually start paying for goods with money I don't have. Now, relying on borrowing is in the short term very comforting. However, when it begins to escalate, debt then becomes the major extra burden. Our attitude towards money and our use of material things have been long an issue for Christians. Should we give everything away, opt for a simple lifestyle, or focus on the responsible management and stewardship of what we have? Luke 12:15 says, "Then he said to them, 'Watch out, be on your guard of all kinds of greed. A man's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions.'" 1 Corinthians 6:10, "Nor thieves, nor the greedy, nor the drunkards or slanderers, nor swindlers will inherit the kingdom of God." Money is seen as a gift from God, a good gift, as a major temptation, and as a terrible master. Money talks. It burns a hole in your pocket. It doesn't grow on trees, and it can't buy you love. Though generally considered a taboo topic, ranking up there with politics and religion, money is nevertheless a big part of our lives. For Christians, the Bible is an authoritative guide to righteous living. Christians believe the Bible teaches us how to live in a way that pleases God, pleases others, and brings lasting joy and peace. And in turn turns out that the Bible has got quite a lot to say about money. Hi, this is Valentine Miller, presenting A Month for Emotions on PRZ-FM 109.2, discussing the taboo subject around money. Should we give everything away, opt for a simple lifestyle, or focus on the responsible management and stewardship? Firstly, the Bible warns against hoarding. Hoarding is accumulating excessive material resources without a defined responsible purpose. Jesus condemns a wealthy farmer who hoarded resources without a defined an appropriate goal in mind. 2. The Bible encourages saving. Saving is accumulating appropriate material resources for a defined, responsible purpose. A wise person does this in Proverbs 6:6-8. As you work and God provides you with income, He expects you to pay for your taxes, give to His work, and meet your present needs. Thirdly, the Bible warns against gambling or get-rich schemes. The Bible does not expressly forbid gambling, but it provides a clear warning against quick income. The responsible way to accumulate resources is to set aside resources in a manageable, steady deposits over time. And that can be found in Proverbs 13:11. Fourthly, the Bible recognizes the element of risk inheritance in responsible long-term savings and investment, and does not forbid it. Jesus uses standard financial investments as a key illustration of spiritual truth, and that can be found in Luke 19:11-26. He does this effectively because the example of financial investment is a good example. And fifthly, the Bible forbids trusting in accumulated wealth. When you follow a principled savings and investment strategy, you're doing something biblical. However, beware of trusting in your own accumulation to provide a sense of security. Follow your strategy, don't trust in it. And biblical references are Proverbs 23:4-5 and 1 Timothy 6:17. And now follows another short break. Hi, this is A Month for Emotions with me, Jennifer Valentine Miller, presenting the taboo subject around money. Should we give everything away, opt for a simple lifestyle, or focus on the responsible management and stewardship of what we have by relying on technology? 62% of UK consumers carry less cash than they used to. In 2017, the average amount carried was £33, and now this has fallen to £21 in 2018. When technology goes wrong, hard cash is often the easiest way to make basic transaction, but we're carrying much less. While a lot of the cashless technology is being developed by agile new fintech firms, some commentators suggest that relying on modern technologies that are tethered to banks' old and existing infrastructures is risky. The professor of strategy at Warwick Business School says, on one hand, new technologies such as voice and face recognition and retina scanning make it possible for us to secure our identity better than we could with passwords. On the other hand, most of us trust an established bank with our money, not realizing that these banks' IT systems date back to the 1970s, and they've not updated these systems significantly since then, precisely due to the fear of the systems breaking down in the process. As highlighted recently with several television news broadcasts, if a bank has been negligent to its customers, there may be a case for recovery of losses suffered by customers. Certainly it would be sensible, if only for publicity and credibility reasons, for the bank to cover any late payment charges and interest charges arising or other loss a customer suffers because the systems malfunction. But should we all be more wary of the drive towards digital where our money is concerned? Certainly a lot of people are. A recent survey from international law firm Osborne Clarke showed that 79% of the 2,000 people surveyed said they worry they would be sharing too much data if cash was entirely replaced by mobile payments. Technology allows consumers to have a myriad of different payment methods. While last week's situation was frustrating for many, it's ultimately much like when a tube line is stopped. Passengers will simply find another route home. If one card payment system fails, most consumers can just pick up another card. Consumer appetite for the convenience and ease of various digital options or contactless options, such as the ability to pay with their phone, shows no sign of diminishing because we see incredible convenience in so many aspects of our financial lives. A spokesperson for the innovation group says, consumers are expecting the seamless, efficient, mobile-first and digital experience they already get from online retailers, such as, for example, Amazon. My name is Valentine, presenting A Month for Emotions on PRZ-FM 109.2, discussing the taboo subject around money. The UK household debt is already worse than at any time in modern history. The Step Change Debt Charity estimates 9 million people are using credit cards to make ends meet every month. At that kind of tipping point, even the smallest increase in cost of debt and mortgages could see millions of households tipping over the edge. But could that include you? A spokesperson for Yahoo Finance says, if you want to create a plan for tipping point situation, it should include everything that definitely comes out of your account each month to get a total fixed amount such as your mortgage or rent, loans and credit cards and council tax, as well as the direct debits like gym memberships. Then look at the average spending on essential items that are a bit more like fluid in terms of totals, such as commuting costs, food and clothing. Finally, look at your incoming funds. Only include guaranteed income, such as your salary that goes into your account each month. If you don't have a set wage, put in an average of the last 6 months of your earnings. Now that should be totaled up, and if you're left with a little extra, which is your disposable income, be sure it's enough to live on. If there's nothing left, then you're often plugging gaps with credit cards or overdrafts. See where you can cut costs, says Yahoo Finance UK, in order to sacrifice. Spending is the best way to bring you back to equilibrium. Most homers have already been moved to action and taken advantage of some decent fixed rate deals. There'll be people with mortgages deals are due to expire soon, and they could find the lending environment is very different from the one when they took out the deal. And this has been warned by the homesimple.com. And with Brexit hovering over the horizon, the uncertainty for the central bank means it's likely to try and minimise any nasty shocks to the system. The Bible forbids worrying about future financial provision. The economic market is volatile. The Bible instructs Christians not to worry about future needs and uncertainties. Does this contradict or cancel out biblical principles of responsible savings and investment? No. It teaches us to save and invest in a responsible manner, but to do so without obsessing over market trends and economic forecasts. And that can be found in Matthew 6:34. I hope that today's edition of A Month for Emotions was delivering, fulfilling and relevant to you. Feel free to contact the Prayer Rally Zone at info@przfm.com if you feel you'd like to contribute a comment to various segments that was discussed this morning. Until next time, this is Valentine. signing off and asking you to remain blessed.
I don't want to be deemed as a Christian actor, first and foremost, because I think that level of compartmentalization reduces the complexity of who you are. I'm far more interested in saying a Christian portrayed, who that's the foundation on which they build their life. But they're a human being. They have flaws. They have challenges. And that, to me, as you see in the Bible all day, every day, David, Joseph, Moses, Esther, Hannah, these were not perfect people. They were flawed people who were guided by God. And to see that reflected in film, I think, is what's compelling.
On Inspirational Breakfast, we often ask the question of things going on that week and say, what would Jesus do? Mm-hmm. If Jesus made a film now in 2016, what do you think it would look like?
I think it would be akin to what I just described. The biggest problem Jesus had when he was here on earth was the religious leaders. I mean, those were the people who he argued with the most. People may well think that he would be making a film that ended in an altar call. I think he would be calling out judgmental people. He'd be calling out those who are hypocritically religious. And because that, I think, is far more dangerous than some of what we as Christians can sometimes focus on.
Christian films are often seen as a bit naff. Why is that?
Because, as I say, there's more of a focus on being preachy than being truthful. The truth of life is that there is darkness in the world. If you were to read the Bible, you'd see very quickly that is an R-rated book. There is so much violence, there is so much of the darker side of life, and you have to engage with the darkness in order to see the light. And if you're going to make Christian films that paint the world as a goody two-shoes place where perfect Christians help people who aren't so perfect come to the light, that's just not the world we live in. And that's not, to me, what brings people to faith. People are brought to faith not by what people say, but what people actually do, how they actually live their lives. When you witness someone who has been through struggle, who has a testimony that is born out of struggle, that is far more powerful than just being told how to live. Jesus never did that. He met people where they were and helped them through.
Chapter 4. Handling Life and My Debt. I ask myself this question many times. When does a week or month go by when I think about the fact and then worry about the fact of being in debt? Whether it is my utility bills, repayments, loans, even one's tithe if you are a church member. I personally always seem to be behind, never able to run forward. Major companies are in a position to handle such matters, which includes chasing people who are falling behind with payments. It seems that the continued development in our social system has raised an enormous range of questions about the relationship between wealth and faithfulness to God. Credit cards have become increasingly widespread, making it easier for a small number of people to accumulate great wealth and for everyone else to purchase goods and services and get into serious debt. In our world today, it is impossible to be a Christian and not struggle with questions relating to money. I am not ashamed of that because questions relating to money were an important aspect in the Old and New Testament, even though the word money is not actually found in the Bible. In fact, after the problem of worshipping idols, the question most discussed in the Bible has to do with money. I know one of the best ways of physically getting out of debt is to have faith. Not only to believe that windfall or lottery win will come by one day. Most importantly, commit to pay off one's debt regularly and also in good time. Communicating with a debt manager means you want to share a common interest with them, which in this case is the need to understand and explain why an outstanding bill has not been paid, when it will be paid, and how. Sometimes work is tiresome and disliked, and there is the inevitable to see it as a burden. Productive work is a gift from God. Therefore, joy and delight should, to my amazement, be found in the work at the workplace. It is clear that getting into debt is unwise. Just like biblical references to starvation, a plague of locusts, or being forced out of your homeland, it is not something that should not be brought upon oneself. However, those of us who are simply tempted by credit cards should simply not carry them.